there, put your seatbelts on, because this first couple of laps now are going to be cracking. It's actually spitting quite heavily on pit lane here, and as you know, you're going to have to get one in the bank now, so I reckon the end of this session will be wet.
Exactly right, Larko. So just to get this in perspective, everyone's gone out on dry tyres. It started to rain, and you've got to get out and do the best lap time you possibly can. Now, James Moffat straight into the pits, and this is on now because straight away there'll be a better lap time on a slightly wet circuit on slicks than there will be on proper wet tyres when it gets properly wet.
Just watching young James come to the pit lane, all that trauma that happened in the approach yesterday was as a result of a power steering failure for Warren Luff, which put a heap of fluid on the road, so oil and water and all the other flurry in the pit lane, but that was the reason why it was so treacherous. We know it's downhill and awkward to get into at the best of times, but the oil made it absolutely diabolical.
This guy was very good yesterday, did an absolutely perfect lap in the top 10 shootout. There's no shootout today. This is on for young and old to get the best qualifying run you possibly can. And a little stat, I know, Neil Crompton, this is your domain, a little stat so far this year, the average spot that Jamie Whincup has qualified is 1.6, so he's basically qualified either first or second across the year so far. The next best is 5th position for Mark Winterbottom and Craig Lowndes, so he has been the qualifying performer of the year so far.
His display in qualifying yesterday was just beautiful. I mean, it was a disciplined, aggressive lap that gave him a great yield. It was a great joy to watch it. And then, by contrast, his race in the afternoon was, I'm sure, I haven't had a chance to catch up with Jamie, but I'm sure
not happy.
He will not be a happy man. I know all the answers before I ask the questions to that one, because it was a stark contrast to the brilliance of his qualifying effort.
So Whincup, 29.06.
These times are going to be important, very important early on. Normally there's a settling in time, but not for this one, because as Mark mentioned, if you can get a good time now with the circuit the way it is, it's going to be much better time than anyone will put down in the way the circuit's about to become.
And Shane Van Gisbergen has been the gun, and now Steve Owen's just jumped him to 28.4.
Todd Kelly's
Steve Owen and Todd and Rick Kelly have gone to the top of the 27.24 for Rick Kelly. Very important, this.
Normally we wait until the end of qualifying for this last charge and for that totem pole to start flicking over wildly. Well, it's already happened. Rick Kelly, 127.24.
That's a great margin, 0.7 faster than his brother. Then Steve Owen, 3rd. Shane Van Gisbergen and Greg Murphy, the 2 locals, in 4th and 5th. Look how sideways, straight away there for James Courtney.
This is the worst possible nightmare for many of these guys when they've had a difficult day yesterday. In many cases, there's been an extraordinary...
Okay, if you can't go faster, let's come in, please, in this lap.
There's been an extraordinary amount of repair work in many cases overnight. And, you know, the tails are plenty up and down the pit lane, and then literally on cue, as you guys said before, down comes the rain at the critical moment when they're all thinking this morning, all the chat was about looking forward to getting stuck into it in the dry. And, of course, that's not to say that it won't be in the not-too-distant future.
Now, Lowndes and Whincup had the advantage because they were first out. They should have done the best job, but they've been knocked right back to 8th and 9th. So they've done a 29.02 and a 29.06, almost 2 seconds away from Rick Kelly with a 27.24. As I said, 0.7 of a second faster than his brother. Really good job from the Kellys.
And that pretty much puts the rest of this qualifying session into the hands of the gods. What will happen to the circuit? What will happen to Rick Kelly's time?